Imagine you're an archaeologist. It's 2008. You're deep inside a cave in Siberia, a place so remote, the nearest town is a 6-hour drive on roads that barely exist. It's freezing. It's dark. And you're digging. You brush away the dirt from a tiny fragment of bone, barely the size of your fingernail. You almost throw it away. Instead, you bag it. You label it. You send it to a lab. And that decision, that one small decision, rewrites the entire human family tree. Because that fragment of bone didn't belong to a Neanderthal. It didn't belong to an ancient human. A species. A whole species of human beings. Walking this earth. Living, breathing, loving, surviving, for hundreds of thousands of years. And we forgot them completely. Today, we remember them. Welcome back to Lost Epic. Let's begin. What we thought we knew. For most of modern history, scientists believed the story of human evolution was relatively simple. There was a straight line. Apes, early hominins, Homo erectus, Neanderthals, and finally us, Homo sapiens, the survivors, the winners. We were taught in schools that Neanderthals were our closest evolutionary cousins, that they went extinct around 40,000 years ago, likely because we outcompete them. Maybe we were smarter, maybe we were faster, maybe we just wanted it more. And for a long time, that was enough. That story felt complete, clean, and comfortable. But science has a habit of humbling us. Because the more we dug, literally, into the earth, the more complicated that clean, straight line became. Branches appeared, dead ends, crossroads, species that didn't fit any category we had invented for them. And buried in that jungle, there were relatives we never knew we had. People who looked at the same stars we look at, who raised their children, who buried their dead, who disappeared from this earth so completely that not a single written word, not a single painting, not a single legend remembers them. Until now. The Siberian cave and the pinky bone. The Altai Mountains are in southern Siberia, Russia. This is one of the most ancient landscapes on Earth. A place where mountains meet steppe, where the wind carries something that feels older than language. And carved into a limestone cliff here, there is a cave called Denisovan, named after a hermit, a man named Denis, who supposedly lived there in the 18th century. Local people had known about it for generations. Archaeologists had been digging there since the 1970s. They found stone tools, animal bones, and evidence of fire, all the usual signs of ancient habitation. Then, in 2008, a team found something unusual. A tiny fragment, a distal phalanx, which is the outermost bone of a pinky finger, small enough to fit between two of your fingernails. It came from a young female, estimated to be between 5 and 13 years old, who had lived in that cave somewhere between 50,000 and 100,000 years ago. The researchers sent it to the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig, Germany, which is one of the best ancient DNA labs in the world. They expected it to confirm what they already suspected, that it was a Neanderthal, or perhaps an early modern human. What they got back was a result so shocking that the lead scientist, Svante Pääbo, initially thought the equipment was malfunctioning. The DNA matched neither Neanderthals nor modern humans. It was something else entirely. A deeply divergent lineage, one that had split from the Neanderthal line somewhere around 400,000 years ago. A previously unknown species of human. They named them, or rather, named the cave after the hermit, the Denisovans. An entire species of people, discovered from a pinky bone. Let that sink in for a moment. To this day, that is almost all the physical evidence we have. A pinky bone, a few teeth, and a partial jaw found in Tibet. A skull fragment, we don't know exactly what they looked like. We don't know what language, if any, they spoke. We don't know their myths, their rituals, their gods. But we know they existed. And we know they were remarkable. DNA, a new way to see the past. Now, to really understand this discovery, we have to talk about something extraordinary. Something that has completely transformed our understanding of human history in just the past 2 decades. Ancient DNA? For most of human history, if you wanted to learn about the past, you needed physical evidence. A skull, a tool, a painting on a cave wall. The body itself, something tangible, something you could hold. But DNA changed everything. See, every living thing carries within it a chemical record of its entire lineage. Billions of years of evolutionary history, stored in every single cell of your body, right now as you watch this. And when something dies, that DNA doesn't disappear immediately. Under the right conditions, cold, dry, stable, it can survive. For thousands of years. The Denisova cave was perfect. Cold Siberian temperatures preserved the DNA in those bone fragments better than almost anywhere else on Earth. Which is why that tiny pinky bone yielded genetic data of remarkable quality. And what he read told an astonishing story. The Denisovan genome was different from modern humans by about twice as many base pairs as Neanderthals were. Which means they were a genuinely separate species, not a variant, not a subspecies. A distinct human lineage that had been living alongside us and our Neanderthal cousins for hundreds of thousands of years. Completely invisible to science. Until a pinky bone in a cave. If ancient DNA is a time machine, then Svante Pääbo just drove it into a part of history that didn't exist on any map. Who were the Denisovans? So who were they really? This is the frustrating, beautiful, and haunting part of the Denisovan story. We have their DNA remarkably detailed, rich with information, but we barely have their bones. So scientists have had to do something almost miraculous. Reconstruct the physical appearance of a species from their genetics alone. In 2019, researchers published a study in the journal Cell where they used the Denisovan genome to predict what they looked like by comparing which genes governed physical traits in modern humans and seeing how those genes appeared in Denisovans. The picture that emerged was striking. Denisovans were likely large, broader, and more robust than modern humans. They probably had wide skulls, a wide pelvis, and large teeth, larger than both Neanderthals and modern humans. In some ways, they resembled very ancient hominins, despite being genetically contemporary with Neanderthals. And here is something that absolutely stunned researchers. Denisovans appear to have possessed a gene variant that allows the body to function at high altitudes with low oxygen levels. This is the same gene variant found today in Tibetan people, who are the only modern humans that can comfortably live and work above 4,000 meters. The Tibetans didn't evolve this trait on their own. They inherited it from the Denisovans. Think about what that means. Denisovans were living in the Himalayas, in the high mountain ranges of Central Asia, in some of the most extreme environments on Earth, not struggling and thriving, because they were built for it. A partial jawbone found at 3,280 meters above sea level at Baishia Karst Cave in Tibet, dating back to at least 160,000 years ago, confirmed it. The Denisovans were high-altitude specialists. They weren't primitive, they weren't simple, they were deeply adapted, deeply human, and they deserve to be remembered. They were everywhere. For a while, scientists thought the Denisovans were a Siberian species. A cold-weather people, tucked into the fringes of Asia, perhaps never venturing far from their mountain cave. They were wrong. Spectacularly, humblingly wrong. Because when geneticists began analyzing modern human populations across Asia and the Pacific, they found Denisovan DNA, not just in one or two groups, but scattered across an enormous geographic range. The signal was everywhere. Papuans and Aboriginal Australians carry the highest proportions of Denisovan ancestry, roughly 4 to 6% of their genome. Some island populations in the Philippines, particularly the Ada Magbukan, carry even more. Filipino Negritos show Denisovan ancestry levels higher than any other group on Earth. Or perhaps, multiple continents worth of territory. Even more strangely, genetic analysis suggests there may have been not one but multiple distinct Denisovan populations, geographically isolated from each other, as different from one another as modern Africans are from modern Europeans. We may be talking about an entire branch of humanity that contained within it enormous diversity we've only just begun to map. a species we discovered 13 years ago. And we're already learning it was more complex, more widespread, more varied than we ever imagined. The Denisovans weren't a footnote. They were a chapter, maybe several chapters, in a book that's just beginning to be written. The other forgotten ones. But the Denisovans aren't alone in the shadows. Because as our tools for reading ancient DNA have improved, we've begun to hear whispers of other presences. Other lost relatives, shadows behind the shadows. Consider Homo naledi. Discovered in 2013 in the Rising Star Cave System in South Africa, one of the most incredible paleoanthropological finds in history, Homo naledi was a species that looked like something assembled from parts of different human relatives. Small brain, curved fingers built for climbing, but upright walking. And, astonishingly, deliberate burial of the dead. In a cave so deep and so difficult to reach that it required a team of tiny, specially selected researchers just to access it. Who buries their dead? Creatures with a concept of death. A sense of self, a sense of others. That is not simple, that is profound. Then there are the hobbits. Homo floresiensis. Found on the Indonesian island of Flores in 2003. Tiny and barely a meter tall. Living as recently as 50,000 years ago. Using tools, possibly hunting pygmy elephants. And genetically, still not fully understood. Their exact place in our family tree remains contested and mysterious. And there are the ghosts. Genetic signals in modern African populations that point to unknown archaic humans who mixed with our ancestors there, populations we have not found, have not named, and have not yet begun to understand. We didn't share this planet with one or two cousins. We shared it with a crowd. A full, complex, diverse community of human beings, all of them now gone. All of them watching the same moon we watch tonight. We bred with them. Here is the part of this story that most people don't expect. The part that changes how you see yourself, literally. We didn't just share the planet with the Denisovans. We met them and we didn't fight them, or at least, not only that. We fell in love with them. We had children with them. The evidence is in our DNA right now. If you are of non-African descent, roughly 1 to 4% of your genome came from Neanderthals. If your ancestry includes Southeast Asian or Pacific Islander heritage, you carry Denisovan DNA as well. These aren't just statistics. This is a love story, or many love stories playing out across tens of thousands of years. Modern humans, moving out of Africa and into Asia, encountering populations of Denisovans and Neanderthals. And instead of pure conflict, mixing, children born, genes passed on, traits selected for, generation after generation, until they became part of us. But here's where it gets even stranger. In the Denisova cave, that same cave where the pinky bone was found, researchers discovered the bones of an individual they called Deni, a teenager who had died around 90,000 years ago. Deni's mother was a Neanderthal. Her father was a Denisovan, a first-generation hybrid, half Neanderthal, half Denisovan, the only known individual in human history born of two different species, found in a cave in Siberia. And we would have thrown her pinky bone away. The past is not a foreign country, it is family. What happened to them? All of them, every single one of our lost relatives, Denisovans, Neanderthals, Homo naledi, the hobbits, all of them vanished. And in every case, their disappearance seems to coincide with the arrival or expansion of one species. Now, we have to be careful here. Science doesn't support simple narratives of conquest. The reality is messy and debated. Climate change also played a role. Disease may have played a role. Competition for resources, almost certainly. And in many cases, as Deni shows us, there wasn't pure conflict. There was integration. But the timing is haunting. Wherever Homo sapiens showed up in numbers, the other species disappeared. Sometimes within thousands of years. Sometimes faster. The Denisovans held on longer than we thought. New research suggests they may have survived in some pockets of Asia as recently as 30,000 years ago, overlapping with modern humans for tens of thousands of years. Not a brief encounter. A long, complicated, intertwined history. And then one day, they were simply gone. No catastrophe, no clear last moment, just absence. Where there had been people, there was only wind, an empty cave, and the bones of what they'd left behind. We will probably never know their last words, their last song, and the name they called themselves. But we carry them inside us, in every heartbeat.